There was a time when General Motors didn't just follow trends, it created them. During that golden era, GM gave its most talented engineers almost unlimited freedom, along with generous budgets. And what about the American RV market in the early 1970s? Most were nothing more than heavy truck frames, topped with square boxes, bulky, clumsy, and lacking in comfort. Buyers had never experienced an RV that was both beautiful to look at, easy to drive, and truly modern. GM saw that opportunity, and so the GMC MotorHome was born. A vehicle that dared to break every convention, with futuristic styling and a design at least 30 years ahead of its time. When the GMC MotorHome made its debut in 1973, it was unlike anything the American road had ever seen. For the very first time, a major automaker had designed and built a recreational vehicle entirely on its own. No borrowed truck chassis. No square, boxy body perched on heavy-duty frames. This was a machine created from the ground up, with one clear goal: to be the most beautiful and best engineered RV in the world. And it worked. From the start, the motorhome turned heads. While most RVs looked like lumbering boxes rolling down the highway, GMC's design was sleek, futuristic, and surprisingly elegant. It was bold enough to look decades ahead of its time, yet practical enough to serve families who wanted to travel in style. GMC's own advertisements didn't hold back. It doesn't ride like a truck. It doesn't look like a box. A claim that sounded almost too confident, but it was true. Drivers found the motorhome smooth and easy to handle. Owners discovered it was as comfortable as it was striking to look at. In just a few short years, the GMC MotorHome had redefined what an RV could be. And America was about to see just how far that vision would go. The beauty of the GMC MotorHome revealed itself in the details. Start with the windshield. Two enormous sheets of curved glass, sweeping back at a dramatic angle. From behind the wheel, it gave the driver a panoramic view of the road ahead, unlike anything an RV had offered before. Look along the sides, and the impression continued. The body didn't stand tall and square, but flowed in smooth curves, like the fuselage of an airplane. Broad windows let in sunlight and opened up the cabin. The lines were graceful, but every curve served a purpose. This was design shaped not only for style, but for aerodynamics. Even the stance of the motorhome was deliberate. Ground clearance was kept low, dropping the center of gravity. That meant a more stable ride at highway speeds, and an easier step up into the cabin. Families could come and go without feeling like they were climbing into a truck. At the rear, GMC engineers made another bold choice. Instead of the traditional dual wheels bolted to a single axle, the motorhome used two separate wheels on each side, supported by independent air suspension. No solid axle tying things together. The system soaked up bumps, smoothed out corners, and delivered a ride far more car-like than any RV of its day. Inside, the payoff was even greater. Without a bulky rear axle intruding into the floor plan, the cabin stretched wider, offering more space to live, relax, and enjoy. Every element of the exterior design, glass, curves, stance, suspension, worked in harmony. It was futuristic to look at, but practical to use. A motorhome that didn't just stand out in the driveway, but made every mile on the open road a pleasure. Underneath its sleek body, the GMC MotorHome carried an engineering layout as bold as its design. Instead of borrowing a truck frame and rear-wheel drive like every other RV, GMC turned to Oldsmobile's front-wheel drive Toronado for inspiration. From 1973 through 1976, the motorhome was powered by Oldsmobile's 455 cubic-inch V8, big, smooth, and brimming with torque. In 1977 and 1978, it shifted to the slightly smaller 403 cubic-inch V8. Either way, the formula worked. Coupled with GM's rugged turbo-hydromatic 425 3-speed automatic, power went straight to the front wheels. That single decision, front-wheel drive, changed everything. It meant no bulky drive shafts, no heavy rear axle. The result was a completely flat floor from front to back, more usable space, smarter layouts, and still enough room underneath to carry 2 fuel tanks with a combined capacity of 50 gallons. For families crossing states or heading out west, that kind of range was a gift. Safety and control were carefully considered. Large disc brakes up front delivered strong stopping power, backed by heavy-duty drums at the rear. Combined with the motorhome's low center of gravity and advanced suspension, it inspired confidence not usually associated with a house on wheels. 2 sizes were available, a 23-foot model on a 140-inch wheelbase and a 26-foot model on a 160-inch wheelbase. Both carried the same futuristic presence, yet gave buyers the flexibility to choose what fit their lifestyle. Step inside, and the innovation was just as clear. Kitchens, bathrooms, and showers came standard. Bold 1970s color schemes offered excitement, while more refined options brought a touch of luxury. Owners could make it wild or make it elegant. Either way, it felt like no RV before it. The GMC MotorHome wasn't just engineered to move, it was engineered to live in, and that combination set it apart from anything else on the road. For 6 short years, from 1973 through 1978, the GMC MotorHome rolled out of the factory in steady numbers. By the time production stopped, exactly 12,921 had been built. For something so unusual, so unlike anything else on the market, that was no small feat. And it turned a profit, a rare victory for such a bold experiment. But the numbers only tell part of the story. The real measure of success came on the open road. Motorhomes began showing up everywhere, lined up at national parks, tucked beneath tall pines at campgrounds, cruising down interstates with families eager for adventure. They weren't just bought, they were loved. Many owners kept them for decades, passing them along like heirlooms because nothing else compared. And then there's the most astonishing fact of all. More than 40 years later, it's estimated that about 8,000 GMC motorhomes are still in use. In the world of RVs, where most rigs fall apart or fade away long before their 40th birthday, that survival rate is almost unheard of. The motorhome had proven its point. It wasn't just futuristic styling. It wasn't just clever engineering. It was durable, dependable, and built with care. A machine that redefined what a recreational vehicle could be and stood the test of time. Even today, when you spot one gliding down the highway, its curved glass shining in the sun, you know immediately, that's no ordinary RV, that's the GMC MotorHome. So why did it end? If the GMC MotorHome was profitable, reliable, and loved by its owners, why did GM pull the plug after only 6 years? The official explanation was simple. GMC needed the factory space to build more trucks. On the surface, it sounded reasonable. Trucks were in demand. They promised higher margins. But behind that decision was the cold logic of the bean counters. To them, the motorhome was a distraction, too unusual, too niche, not a safe bet for the long term. And so, in 1978, production stopped. The irony is impossible to ignore. Even during the fuel crisis and economic struggles of the mid-1970s, the motorhome sold well. People still bought it because it was better, smarter, easier to live with, more stylish than anything else on the road. Imagine if it had survived into the booming 1980s, when Americans were traveling more, when gas was cheaper, and when the RV culture was taking off. The GMC motorhome might have ruled the highways, not just for a few short years, but for decades. Yet the end of production wasn't the end of the story. Far from it. More than 40 years later, thousands of GMC motorhomes are still out there, gliding down interstates, parked proudly at campgrounds, or shining at vintage shows after careful restorations. Compared to modern rigs, they remain striking, dependable, and often far less expensive. Today, the motorhome stands as both triumph and tragedy, a triumph of engineering and imagination, a tragedy of short-sighted thinking. And for those who still drive them, it is more than an old RV. It is a dream machine, a rolling reminder of just how far ahead GMC once dared to go. The 1973 to 1978 GMC MotorHome was more than just an RV. It was a symbol of bold creativity and a bitter reminder of how short-sighted decisions can kill even a masterpiece. Had it continued into the 1980s, GMC might well have become the dominant name in the RV market. But instead of fading into obscurity, the motorhome still lives on in the hearts of enthusiasts. More than 40 years later, thousands are still rolling down the highways, a reminder that beauty and imagination never grow old. How about you? Do you see the GMC MotorHome as a missed masterpiece or just an unfinished dream? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit like. And be sure to subscribe so you won't miss the next journey into classic car history.